It's a fascinating, backwards way that I've been able to work myself into the Library of Congress.
That's how it is. Here we go. Hype. Once upon a groove on an old soul tune. I watch the pen move to shape the breakthrough. Who makes moves, maneuver in the right direction? The rest of you get left behind and messed up in this session. I'm not trying to make a difference.
Welcome everyone to Drunkcast Live. Yeah. Episode 144. Taking place here in Austin, Texas. I'm Travis.
Hi, I'm Dylan.
We're a podcast that takes place in bars and restaurants. Mostly bars now, mostly Don's Depot, still in Austin, Texas. Where we'd like to have a drink and talk to interesting people about things that have happened over the week. And what a week it's been. In fact, it's been such a week that most of those topics are so depressing.
I think they're all in the words we can't say.
Trump is going to be one of those words. No, I mean, we can't lose Trump. Can't lose Trump. Like I said, we
can't lose him.
We like to do with interesting people. Having a drink with interesting people also means having really interesting people. Like, finally, he's a host. I love the fact that you guys are doing a talk show, weekly talk show in Austin. He's the host of a weekly talk show in Austin called ATX Tonight. He's still an engineer by day?
No.
Just a writer now?
Yeah, just comedy. I mean, I do some freelance work for like web design, graphic design, that sort of stuff on the side, just pay the bills. But at this point, no longer chained to my old desk job.
No
as
cubes.
White collar slave.
No cubes on you. It's Chris Sebilia.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
So excited to have you here. Let's. I'm going to go ahead and take a cheers up.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good.
To have you here, man. So since this is the first time you're on the show,
sure.
You get a little, what do you call them?
Questionnaire.
Questionnaire. We have 3 questions we're going to ask you. First question is, what are you drinking?
Right now I'm drinking a Lone Star.
Okay.
It is the national beer of Texas, so you got to do that.
Is that what you usually go for? Like, is that a drink that you look for, or is it a drink that you're like, before you know what you want, you grab that beer?
So I never mind the Lone Star. Like in the past 3 months, as you might imagine, my drinking taste has changed into whatever's cheap.
Sure.
That's. Generally, I don't know. I gravitate towards Pilsners and IPAs, something like that.
Okay, sure. What's your favorite IPA? Of all of them, you have 5 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
I love the Austin Beer Works. That's always good.
Yeah, sure. I like a lot of their off-seasonal stuff, or seasonal things.
Sure.
Like Gold Fists.
Did you have the Mother Falcon that was a couple months ago?
Oh, I haven't tried Mother Falcon. That sounds awesome already.
I like it both for the beer itself and the name. It's that...
Mr. Falcon, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
you like obscure Die Hard references too?
Exactly. Well, you got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Yippee-ki-yay. Mr. Falcon. Second question is, what is your spirit animal?
Spirit animal. That's an interesting one. I listened to one of your past episodes, and I was like, I made a mental note to come up with a spirit animal and a good story, and immediately forgot it. So
you're not alone. I think that's everyone's story.
I'm gonna go with not for the overtly sexual reference. I'm gonna go with a beaver.
Okay.
I really like the idea of an animal that's like completely terraforming a forest of like, you know what this should be? A lake now. I could do that.
We want to live here so bad that we're going to change what this looks like right now.
They're the humans of the animal kingdom.
Well, they're hardworking too.
Yeah.
Busy beavers.
Great dental plans.
Sure.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to see a beaver strike.
Or like a methed out beaver. Just the one
Just
tooth.
the one tooth. It's really sharp now. You pick locks with it.
Dams all really haphazardly built.
Yeah, it's mine. I don't care.
He's stealing copper out of other beavers' homes.
Out of the other beavers' AC units. Oh, that's excellent. Third question is unique to you specifically. It's unique to you, hopefully forever. Like no one else should ask this question to you again. What is your favorite or best celebrity impersonation?
That he does, or
that you do?
Okay.
Well, I should qualify by saying I don't think I do any celebrity impersonations well. So this will be like the least bad.
What's your favorite worst impersonation?
What's my favorite worst?
Is that really limits are endless?
Yeah. Let's see. A couple years ago, I toured around. I did a little bit of walking.
Sure.
You got to do that.
Everyone does.
Everybody does, right? And then I don't know. The only like accent I would do on stage or something would be like Irish, just like generic Irish, not even a like
Lucky Charms Irish.
no Lucky Charms Irish. Yeah,
Austin Powers Irish.
right. Awesome.
Yeah,
Like over the top that it becomes comical again. You know, that's that cycle of
Yeah,
comedy.
Sure. Well, give us a sample then. I'm gonna
Okay,
put
let's
you
see.
on the
So
spot,
I mentioned Walken. I got to do that.
Oh, do Christopher Walken as an Irishman. No, you don't have to do that.
Until it becomes funny again later.
Right.
Yeah.
The Sebilia
Do it for
Snoop.
the next 30 minutes, and I'll edit it down.
I can't even come up with a touchstone on Irish. So let's see.
Isn't that a Blarney Stone?
The thing about the Irish brook is it's all in the H's and the J's. You put a little bit of breath behind your H's. It kind of comes through a lot better.
Yeah. Excellent. And that means you've answered all the questions correctly, too.
Have I?
Yes, you got 100%.
Excellent.
Actually, the trick of that question was you didn't actually have to do the accent.
Oh, wow.
You just had to tell us which one was your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
bonus
that-
But then
points.
you
Oh, no,
wait a minute.
I asked him specifically. Like,
I'm going to go back to the tape because I think you asked me specifically to do put me on the spot.
Well, give us a sample then.
There it is. Everybody hear that?
He was right. He was right the whole time, Dylan. Sorry. Yeah.
He was walking the whole time.
Walking out of here.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
Yeah, I do my own cuts, so sound effect.
So I can only grab as much information as I can off of Facebook. You have your own personal page, picture pages. But that's why I was like, brought up engineer because you had mentioned before that you're an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
You had some jokes about cubes, as I'm certain people in cubes are wont to do.
Yeah.
So I couldn't figure out where you're from though.
Okay. So I'm originally from Northern California, just outside of Oakland.
Okay.
And then I went down to San Diego for school. So before Austin, it was San Diego.
Okay. Well, what'd you do in school? Like, what kind of engineer are you actually? Let's start with that.
So past tense now, please.
Well,
I'm an artist now.
Where are you? Yeah.
I was a structural engineer, so I worked with architects and contractors building buildings.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, the last project before I quit, I was working on the what is it? The Independent, the Jenga building. I don't know if you saw that. It's going to be the next biggest, tallest building in Austin.
The Jenga building?
Haven't seen it yet.
Huh. Cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of the.
And you left that all behind.
If you had known it, that's the term that it's known by.
Sure.
Knowing that's your background, I'm very impressed by your bravery for being on this patio.
Oh, by how? You know what's funny is, this patio could use some work here and there. The home I live in is this 1920s falling down,
Oh, of course.
actually abomination to engineering. Yeah, it's a daily struggle.
Night terrors about.
No.
Oh, this is what's going to fall first.
That's actually called
Yeah.
charm, and it makes your house worth $50,000 more, I think, here in
So
Austin.
you live in Hyde Park too, is what it is. Yeah, because we're in a Frankenstein house, and it's every day. I'm like, oh, there's a new crack. Cool. We fixed that. It's good. No, still, yeah.
Our garage, literally, and I'm using that in the correct way, lists 7 inches to one side. Like nothing is straight or vertical or plumb about it. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
It's not really going to affect.
Yeah. It's lasted this long, right? So is the Tower of Pisa. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It just
Ergo,
falls into
yeah.
place. You know, I mean, someone's going to show up and try to push this room back over and take pictures
Take a picture
of
of
themselves.
it. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. That's how I pay my mortgage. Tourism dollars.
We found out the hard way in one of our little guest room areas when we had a couple come stay with us that it does, like, it's such a Willy Wonka room that if the bed is on one side, they just constantly roll this way. So they'll wake
fall out
up
of
and they'll
bed.
just be on each other. So we had to like figure that out. And like it's also my office. So if I barely move my desk chair at all, it just goes.
Oh yeah.
And that's fun. I like to have a struggle every time I want to do some work.
Well, that almost sounds like a couple's therapy room. You know, like they don't know, but by the end of the weekend, they will be happier together.
That's right. They'll know for sure. They'll either figure it out or they're done with.
Or they're
Right.
stuck forever.
It's
Yeah.
a trial by fire room,
And
really.
you can charge for that. Yeah.
The our house. So our house is heated by like a gas furnace that they put below the floor.
Oh, yeah.
With a giant metal grate over the top of it.
Those are legal, right?
It's gotta be.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I know why. Like,
Well, yeah.
so there's a metal grate that's ridiculously sharp.
Yeah.
Like several people have gone to the hospital with stitches over it. But when you turn on the heater in the winter, the thing gets so hot that if you stand on it, it will melt your shoes.
Yes.
So like,
Yeah, because like it's supposed to heat the whole house, and to do that, it has to get very hot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also made of metal.
Oh,
so
the 20s.
yeah.
and it looks like a bomb that you can see. Like it has a tiny window, and you can see fire inside. And you're like, no, I think this makes sense on some level. I'm glad we have this.
My girlfriend lived in a house that their heating, they only had central heating. They had AC units everywhere else, but that heater actually, like when you turned it on, fire would shoot out the bottom, like actual fire. So if you weren't prepared for it, then same situation, but it's actual fire and not melting shoes or cutting yourself, I guess.
Yeah, wow.
And I just like, how is that legal? Whatever.
That's, man.
Austin, right? It's quirky and we're drunk.
That actually explains a lot, really.
Slogan of Austin, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you came here from California. You came here for work?
Yeah, so I originally came here from work. Yeah, I was working. I was interning in a place in San Diego, and when I got out of school, they didn't have a job for me, but they were like, "Oh, but we're opening up a new office in Austin, so you can go
great.
do that."
Sure,
That's cool.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And I was like, yeah, I heard Austin is a cool place.
How many years ago was that?
7 years at this point. Yeah.
7. And how long have you been doing comedy?
I'll say about 4.
4 years? Okay.
Yeah, I kind of came into it through improv maybe
Yeah.
5 years ago, and then I had a bunch of jokes that I was writing and decided to try them on stage. Use kind of improv to get over a little bit of stage fright. So
It helps.
Yeah.
Is it the Maestro?
yeah, Maestro and the classes at the Hideout,
Okay, sure.
which
sure.
would then circle back to where my show is now. So it kind of all comes full circle. Nice to be involved in that community again.
Are you still the director of the Maestro?
I did that for a little bit.
Okay.
I have kind of fallen out of touch with it just because I've been doing way more stand-up lately.
Sure.
Nothing I'm opposed to. I had a blast directing Maestro. It's such a great show.
Yeah. And that's just full improv, right? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So the structure of that show is a lot like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
sure.
So they start with 12 people, and
great
then
format.
the audience kind of votes and narrows them down, and then by the end of the show, there's one person doing like monologues and solo improv and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Which
Okay.
is
Cool.
always
Yeah.
fun and challenging all in that vein.
And then how is Wayne Brady these days?
Oh, what a saint. God, I hope he's hosting another talk show.
The patron saint of improv.
Man. You just say improv 3 times and Wayne Brady shows up. A lot of people don't know that.
I would love to meet him.
Yeah.
We could try
He
it.
sounds like a delight. He really
Yeah. I also saw that you lead Habitat for Humanity trips.
Yeah, uh-huh.
You still do that? You still have time for that?
I do, yeah. Actually, so since quitting my job, now I'm going to be doing... So I used to do like one of those a year where I'd go abroad to different countries and lead a habitat trip to build a house.
Yeah.
And now, since I have so much more free time, I'll be leading 2 a year. Or at least this coming 2016, I'll be leading 2. So
Very cool.
That's excellent.
So as the engineer, are you like involved with your profession on that part of the building, or
oh God, no.
you're just hammering nails in the thing?
Yeah,
You leave that at the desk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm more of a grunt on those projects, which is good because like a lot of stuff you build in other countries maybe don't have the same.
So they have
Built to the same
they have
code.
metal grates beneath the floors that melt your shoes.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, I'm installing them now. I was like, okay, here's what you got to worry about. I know this.
Art mimics life. We know this.
Yeah.
Melt your shoes, please.
Well, what shoes? I mean, come on.
I mean, they
In foreign countries.
No.
Took a sad turn right there, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they make our shoes. They don't wear them.
Man, come on. You're on notice.
All right.
I do like the
I'm starting early tonight. Yeah, I can't even do it. Look at that.
I do like the image of like a tiny child laborer in some country. Be like, yo, the new Jordans in yet? Are we making those? Oh, come on.
Just be really proud of his work. Yeah. No. If I'm gonna do this for 2 cents a day, I want to put my heart into this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be something that kids really want to.
No,
want their
you're
parents to buy.
laborers. I'm an artist.
Right.
I'm Inspector Number 1, sir.
Pulls open his shirt. He's got a giant one.
The one on it, yeah. Stamp that shit out. Look, I didn't start here when I was 7 to be number 2. All right. I'll be the most glorious shoemaker of all time.
I think that comes later in the show.
Yeah. So how did T&M tonight?
T&M tonight.
So first and foremost, what did the T&M stand for?
Well, it was held at the New Movement.
There it is. Okay.
So T&M, the
Yeah.
New Movement. To be honest, it was a name that I fought for a little bit, and then kind of got strong-armed in keeping. But because the number one question I'd get about the show, I would get, what is T&M?
Sure.
And then, or like most of the time I'd get, what is TMN? They'd say it wrong
Sure.
against me.
Well, because they're thinking turtles most likely. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then what is the show? And I'd be like, well, okay, it's a late night show, but we run it monthly, and it's not that late, and also we don't broadcast it. I get it. I didn't like the name either.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so so now you're doing it weekly.
Now we're doing it weekly,
As
and it's
ATX,
later,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
So ATX tonight, people kind of get it. It's a late night style talk show.
Cool.
We do it live. We put it out on YouTube later. If we could ever figure out how to stream it live, we'd do that too.
You could
a lot of barriers.
Cool.
but-
Probably Periscope it if you want to make it really lo-fi.
You know,
You stream.
yeah.
I have thought about both of those things. You know, the thing about Periscope, to get into real technical background stuff,
Please
I'm
do.
sure it'll be interesting. Is you can't pull those videos down. Like you can't keep the videos and put them on YouTube later or anything.
Okay.
That's
Periscope,
dumb.
and
Okay.
then it's gone.
Wow. Yeah, don't do that.
There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to do it.
Right?
Yeah,
And so we've broadcast on YouTube for the past 2 shows, which is great if you like incredibly low quality audio that you almost can't even hear. Like I'm listening to the show later, and I'm like, I know what joke that is, and I can't even hear what I'm saying. But
It's a little self-deprecating, but I thought it was pretty all right, really. Like watching and hearing and listening to the there's a heart there. You know, you guys are actually trying really hard to make something that's really fucking neat, honestly.
Oh, yeah,
and
thank
you
you.
top 5. I love the Chris Kattan jokes on the website, by the way.
oh, thanks. Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
So our head writer Martin Urbano actually opened for Chris Kattan
Okay.
in Corpus Christi one time to a crowd full of people that did not want to hear him.
Chris Kattan?
People who did want to hear Chris Kattan
Sure.
and did not want to hear Martin.
Sure.
I'm having trouble processing that. I'm sorry. People wanted to hear Chris Kattan do stand-up?
Sure.
Yeah, a whole auditorium full. I know that's the most unbelievable
Huh.
thing about that. And so now, now it's kind of been our running joke and his running joke about like anytime we bring him up, that's always his credit. Like we don't let him forget that he opened for Chris Kattan. And so
Yeah, specifically because there's like testimonials at the bottom. If you go to the website for ATX tonight, testimonials of people who really enjoyed the show, and the last one is from Chris Kattan's lawyers. It's a cease and desist, which is just excellent. Yeah, and a quote. It's like not even a real quote from him, and that smile. It's like you look at that guy. He's like, oh, he probably does have lawyers. Yeah.
Mango.
Mango.
you say mango, I say brilliant. I'm just saying.
His house is bigger than mine, so
Sure.
yeah.
No, but I love the format. I love the concept, and I'm so happy you guys have I'm glad you're doing it more. You know, it seemed like it was something you really wanted to do more often. You know.
Yeah, the weekly. I'm not gonna lie, is like a lot more work for
Of
us
course,
and
yeah.
all the writers. But like now we really have that platform for like, hey, any goofy weird idea we're gonna try.
Yeah.
Now we can try it, and we'll clear all of that out, and then next week we have a whole new batch of weird ideas that we're gonna try.
Yeah.
So you do the show on stage in front of an audience?
Yeah, we do.
Cool. And
On stage at the Hideout. Yeah.
At the Hideout.
Yes. And I love Troll versus Trump. I want to talk a little bit more about that because I thought it was really funny. We have to take a break, unfortunately, and we'll come back with more Chris Sebilia. Break.
I don't want to break your whole world. Of course, that's the last thing I want to do.
Wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we break. Like, damn, what a vibe. Woo! I got my old soul shoe tripping on his deep groove.
Excellent. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Segment 2, the Double Deuce.
I think we officially have christened it the Double Deuce.
It has to be, it has to be the Double Deuce. Well, now we have Chris on the show. Is it still christened? Should we ask him if the Double Deuce is a good name for a second segment?
Are there 2 segments here? Are there 2 quizzes?
This is the second
The second segment, so we're looking
So
at...
that's 1 deuce.
We've had 2 segments total. The first one wasn't a deuce.
I see where you're going with that. But if you have a double
Okay.
deuce, that means it's actually 4.
Right.
But
Or the second segment has 2 parts.
yeah,
Or
but,
like
but we're strictly going with in honor of Roadhouse, the Double Deuce.
We could
So-
technically have 2 parts if we... I could break right now.
The seat and watch that ego grow way too long. Trying to settle this.
And we're back.
there we go.
Yeah, double deuce.
In honor of
The double
Swayze.
deuce.
Segment 2 times 2 shots.
Yeah. Math. So tell me more about your formula. I've actually not seen this show.
Okay.
I've gotten some gleaning here. You
Sure.
write, you do it live. What's the jam? What's your thing?
So the format of the show, similar to basically a late-night show.
And you're the host?
I'm the host. Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. We come out, we have monologue. Usually we'll have like a segment in there or a video. We do a lot of video stuff as well. And then we'll...
Skits are hilarious.
Sorry?
The skits are hilarious.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we have a lot of time, a lot of fun goofing around with that. And then we usually have a guest or a storyteller on, interview, and a comedian will come on as well. Probably do another segment, another video, something like that, and then usually end with a band. So
Very cool.
it
About an hour and change?
Yep, hour exactly.
So a
Yep.
full actual show. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, full hour, no commercials.
Nice.
So a little bit longer than a normal show, but
That's why it was so beautiful when
A
I
Netflix hour.
when I knew what you were doing. It was like, oh crap! Like, it's a great idea, just in general. You're very handsome, so it's easy for you to do this. I
Oh,
think.
stop.
Yeah. And just like again the positivity of like you guys wanted to do this, something that really is required. I think, especially in Austin, where dumb stuff can happen. It's very Florida-ish. No.
We're all kind of dumb stuff, I think.
Yeah.
the one of the things I love about the show is if everything goes according to plan, some of the comics that I write with now will go on to write for better shows and be on TV and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
But like right now, we don't have any sponsors. We don't answer to anyone. No one's making money. So it's kind of that nice like dark playground that we can put like funnier jokes that will never get to be put on national television
Sure,
later.
sure.
We're familiar with that concept.
You're not going to
Yeah.
get your typical sitcom joke, but you will. You'll get actual jokes. So.
Oh, wait. You're Sam?
Do not start with me. Laugh track.
If you're here, then who's that?
Or am I? Yeah.
Boop, 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 boom, boom, ba-doop, boom, boom.
I don't want to ask you who your favorite guests have been so far through the entire run, but who are your favorite guests so far?
Through the entire run?
No, so,
Let me answer.
If we can start at the beginning of the so I want to first and foremost I want to thank you very, 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 very much for having a replacement for when you couldn't make it that last time.
Oh.
Not only was Brent awesome from
Yeah.
Peasley,
Oh, yeah.
not only
Yeah.
was he awesome, but it's the first time that anyone that we've ever had as a guest who like filled in their shift, if you know what I mean,
Sure.
like got them poached or like hot schedules or whatever. Like it was really nice of you to do that,
Yeah.
and he was also
you very much,
a really
yeah.
cool guy. Like I've seen him in some videos on the show.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the writers on
He's
the
one
show.
of the writers. Cool. That's how did you guys meet?
Yeah, just through stand-up.
Cool.
Yeah, actually, so Brent and I are good friends. It's not uncommon for other stand-up comedians or other people in town to mix us up as the same person.
Well, you don't have glasses, so clearly.
Right.
I don't have glasses or curly hair. For a while, I didn't have any sort of beard. It's more like our manner. Like, I hate to say it, but you don't find too many like nice guys in Austin comedy.
Aw.
Nice guy mindsets. So
Yeah,
people
yeah.
would be like, come up and be like, "Oh, Brent, you had a great set on Tuesday," and I'd be like, "Yes,
I sure did,
bet I did."
and I stole all my material from my best friend Chris Sebilia.
Yeah. Which is also funny because we write together from time to time. So like I've got some of his tags in my set, and he's got some of my tags in his set, or
That's cool.
Whatever that made sense.
Sure. I got it because I also kind of understand what tags mean. I mean,
Oh,
I-
yeah.
yeah.
So you say a joke, and then there's like the second thing you say that relates to the first joke that also gets a laugh. That'd be a tag.
Okay. A switcheroo. No.
Yeah, that's the other name. I think.
That's the other
switcheroo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because tag is Polish for a
Switcheroo.
Swiss word.
No,
Did-
I'm pretty sure that's not.
Oh, you're right. You're Polish. I forgot.
I think that's more Dutch or Norwegian.
You're more Dutch.
Austrian, I think. It's not Tog. It's Tog.
Tog.
Oh, that's Swedish. Jesus, where's my head at today?
It's in the heart of the music. No, I don't know.
So you do the show every Tuesday, is that correct?
ATX Tonight is every Saturday.
It's every Saturday.
Every Saturday, 10:30 at the Hideout. Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Um,
you write
yeah.
on Tuesday.
Tuesday's the principal time for writing. Yeah.
Right.
Sarah June, you know Sarah June too. She's
Uh-huh.
been on the show. Does she have any relationship to the show aside from being on it, or?
She was on it as a comedian.
Yeah.
I've helped her out filming some stuff before. So yeah, that's always fun. It's always fun to see like people come at filming from both the like zero budget direction and also the like some budget direction.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
oh no, if people gave you money, you'd be really good. You just have been surviving on still wanting to make stuff. But yeah, so we've worked together before. Yeah, she had moved out to LA for a little bit and came back and just continues to get better every time I see her. So
So you've known her longer than that then? Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, let's see, a couple years now. I mean, I haven't been doing comedy too long, so in the last 3 or 4 years, but yeah.
Awesome.
I like Sarah June because her sets are so well written. You know, like every joke is very efficient.
Efficient,
wording,
yeah, sure.
which sounds too robotic, but is really good if you know.
Well, I
really
mean,
break it down.
it's an art as much as it is. I wouldn't say a science. That might be too much exactly. But
You could argue it's a science.
it has to be polished. You know.
Oh, yeah.
And a person
Yeah.
who can polish it very well and say like, this is exactly what I'm gonna do. Like, yeah, it shouldn't be robotic, because we have robotic comics. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Stephen Hawking, for example. Hilarious stuff.
God.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
Yeah. Kind of misogynistic, but whatever. You know.
I mean, you know, when you look like that, you got some beef.
Got some beef.
I don't even know what that means.
I think you were trying to slam his mom. I'm not sure.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Wait,
Sure.
there's probably a better way to say that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you're. I've just met you. Potentially, you might also be trying to have sex with his mother. I don't know.
Mrs. Hawk? I don't know.
That's the theory of everything right there. Yeah. You just don't know. It could be anything.
So you were asking me, so the reason I really wanted to cover when I couldn't make it on that last minute thing, having had booked shows, I know how much of a pain in the ass that is to like be ready to go, everything's in order, you know, all 10 people you've talked to are good, and then, you know, your comedian backs out.
And the last one.
But on the plus side, you were actually doing a show up in Dallas. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
So
a
I went,
big deal.
Yeah, you're the last second thing. What was that about exactly?
So there was a comedian that was really big back in the day that I had done a show in San Marcos with. So he was going up to Dallas. So he asked me if I wanted to go with him and do a couple shows up there. So I did that on Sunday, and then on Saturday night, and then unfortunately the show on Sunday didn't pan out. But it was fun. It was a fun experience, fun trip.
Cool. Good road trip up to Dallas.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dallas it's like a very interesting scene as compared to Austin. This is what I found out when I was up there. Like Austin, there's a lot of opportunities to get stage time, a lot of open mics every night in 2 comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Dallas is almost the opposite. They've got a bunch of comedy clubs and very few open mics.
Really?
Yeah, I was talking to these guys and they were like, "Yeah, let's see. There's probably like 5 open mics a week." And I was like, "That's crazy. On Monday, there's 5 open mics in Austin, and you can hit them all." Like,
You do 4 or 5 in a night.
yeah, exactly. And so I'm like,
that's the reason why I was asking you too if you had anything later tonight, because we've had people on the show, comedians, who are like, well, I want to be done by this time because I want to go hit some open mics. Like, you're really excited about that thing. It seems like a really good place, if not only to, again, polish, but also to just like kind of get out and do the thing that you want to do in the first place, which is be around people. And even if most of those people are also comedians,
Yeah.
But so that's weird. Like, is it because Dallas doesn't have enough foot traffic to
it
anything?
makes sense knowing
Like,
Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure. You don't live there, so yeah.
That's as much as I know, and everything else would be analysis.
I lived there for a bit, and maybe you can back this up just as a tourist. My experience with Dallas is everything is heavily corporatized. Everything is homogenized. It's
Sure.
You go to the Comedy Store franchise. You go to the Comedy Club franchise.
It's a place of industry.
Yeah. So, and because you're in a larger city, and because everything is franchised, because everything has to be the same on every block between Garland and Addison, it's just okay. Well, it's the same, so it has to be a brand. And
Sure.
when you have a brand, you have to have a headliner, right? The real comedian. We don't have time for people won't bring money to the door. So
Yeah.
so that'd be my guess.
Sounds reasonable to me. Huh?
Sure.
didn't see anything to the contrary. On
Well,
that.
and technically, you're the only expert we have. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So.
I'm just hypothesizing based on my experience as an observer who has gone to a comedy club
yes.
in Dallas.
Well, there you go. It's like the line, the blind leading the legally blind, though not technically blind.
Best I can do short notice. Sorry.
What's next for you? Like, time for plugs and stuff. I know Out of Bounds is coming up.
Yeah, so Out of Bounds, I got 2 shows on that.
It's spitting jokes.
Spitting jokes.
Who was the woman who was on the bumps with you, or the personality?
And you gotta see him. He's amazing. He's just terrific. Ay, 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 what a guy.
The have they already played those? Oh, you went to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, yeah.
I had so much fun with those. I had to put them. So let me back up. I'll tell everybody what you're talking about.
Please do.
So for Out of Bounds, they sent performers an email like, "Hey, if you want to be on our podcast, send us some bumpers." And what that is like, "Hey, I'm Chris Sebilia. My show is on September 5th, whatever."
Yeah.
Hey, this is Chris Sebilia. I'll be spitting jokes on September 5th at 11 p.m. at the Velveeta Room. Please come out.
And so I happened to be sitting around Thai Fresh on down in South Congress, South Lamar, South First, anyway.
Sure.
Like when I got that email and I wanted to record them, and one of our writers, Austin Silver's mother, had stopped in and was just like sharing the table with me. We were both working, and so I was like, "Hey, I got to record these. Like, you want to say something like on the end of the track? Say whatever you want. Take whatever creative liberty." And she was like, "Oh, I'd love to," and just gave me like the best, like super hammed up like Jewish mother
Yeah.
like lines I would have never been able to think of. And be like, "Oh, Chris, he's amazing. He put 100 smackers in my hand to say that." I was like, "Oh,
So Chris is wonderful. You gotta come. And he just greased my palm with $100 smacker. You gotta come and see him.
I love it. You're so let's do 3 more."
Yeah.
And I was so excited about those. I was like, "I'm gonna put them on YouTube so that maybe plug them later, but just have some fun because they were great." In case no one hears the Out of Bounds 24-hour podcast that'll be going on while that festival.
24 hours. Wow.
Go, what?
Yeah.
But record scratch. What is that?
What is Out of Bounds? What is podcast?
Out of Bounds is a
24-hour podcast.
Yeah, right,
yeah.
right.
So I don't know if they're going to be doing it live for 24 hours, but so Out of Bounds has a podcast that accompanies the festival, and they'll have interviews with performers on the festival, and as well as if anybody sends in content. So like if improvisers recorded a show and want to put that audio on there,
Okay,
or
so-
stand-ups put their jokes on there and stuff like that. So
They turn into like a 24-hour like radio bit where they come in, they talk about some things, they throw some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's
Cool.
exactly it.
Yeah.
I don't know who's listening to that at 4 a.m, but yeah, there you go.
I mean, you'd be
It'll there.
surprised. I mean, Alex Jones is a thing, and he was only on 4 a.m. way back in the day. So
And now he's a millionaire.
yeah. Oh yeah, because you really didn't because you know who Alex Jones is, right?
Is he the InfoWars guy?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because when I first got here in 2001, he was just Austin Community
Yeah,
Access. That's it.
at 4 in the morning
Really?
and channel
Yeah.
like 15.
Yeah. And he was just the guy who was his claim to fame really was he would say something outlandish and he had a table full of paperwork and he would grab the paper and say, "I have the proof right here," every time, and he'd slam the paper down like, "I got the proof right here." And then he would never talk about that paperwork and just keep bringing the point up over and over again. It's like, just show us the proof. Fine, whatever. ACAC. And now he's got a monthly publication. Now he's got tons of money because
9/11.
at some point someone was watching at 4:30 and said, "Let's bump him up a little bit." You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Donald Trump, 2016.
Trump Jones. How about that?
Trump Jones.
I've never sat down and taken the time to enrich myself by reading an InfoWars.
Oh, you have to. It is one of the most brilliant pieces of marketing propaganda ever.
Yeah.
Markaganda.
It is
Yes.
fantastic. It's perfect. It really is. Like, they know what their audience is, and they pander in every way you can possibly imagine. It is beautiful. I love it because it is so perfect as a business commodity. It's brilliant. It's wonderful.
It's kind of like, you ever I don't know if you were a Boy Scout or a Cub Scout when you were a kid.
Yeah, both.
You got the Boys Life thing, and then the last. I guess a lot of publications, but I felt Boys Life did it the best, where it was like the last 17 pages of the magazine were just things you can buy that probably didn't work. You know? I mean, it was magic stuff or
X-ray specs,
or like hovercrafts. You guys remember the hovercrafts?
Well, there were plans to build your own.
Of course, for pretty cheap. It was like $200. Like
that's what hovercrafts go for?
What Boy Scout? Well, just the plans. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait, that makes sense.
It's $300 total. You know.
You just need a vacuum.
You just need a vacuum and a power source of some sort. Anyway. But like that's the way these read, is like at a certain point you have this article, this several page article, and then the next page is something that's selling, something that will help you get through the pain of the article, like how we're going to run out of food, and the next page is food insurance, which is like seeds and powdered things and cans of stuff, and it's like
beautiful.
It is really kind of beautiful. I walked into a kolache place, and I was eating kolaches, and I turned around, and like, you know, a lot of places have the standing high the shelf where you can put your things. And someone had taken an Onion, the printed publication, and an InfoWars, and they were right next to each other, like they'd been read at some point together. And someone wrote 100% bullshit on the Onion. Like they were so like, fuck this shit. I know the truth, and this is not the truth.
We have the proof right here.
They're not building a wall around Austin.
Right. Yeah. So anything can happen at 4:30 in the morning, you know.
Some like one of my like personal joys, like my little joy gems in life, is when like comedy bits, stand-ups, whatever, forecast like future things that will actually happen.
Sure.
Like there's a really Chappelle had a sketch back in the day about how if there was a black president, he wouldn't necessarily do anything different, but he'd be blamed for a lot more.
For everything, yeah.
And so there's this really like super passing in the sketch of him holding up a newspaper that says asteroid, black president's fault, ? And then somebody put that side by side with Fox News of like, could Obama have done more to stop the asteroid? Or like, is this asteroid Obama's fault?
Yeah.
And you know, there's something that happened 10 years apart, and at the same time, like Chappelle nailed it way before real life did. Amazing.
That's disgusting.
He's the patron saint of our show. So,
which one?
Oh, Saint Walken, and then Saint Chappelle, I guess.
Chappelle. Okay, sure. Like, yeah, because
Insomniac really is this show, except he moved and we stay in one place.
Well, we just stay in one place, yeah. And we also don't want to hangover. We know it will happen. I think, Insomniac, that's David Tell.
Oh, sorry. Blurg.
Yeah.
Look at me. That's 22 strikes.
You
Man.
You tried to whitewash Dave Chappelle.
What?
Thanks, Obama.
What do you say when somebody's on notice? Are they more on notice? I don't even know what on notice means. It's kind of like a warning, though, right? Like,
you're on notice. Like we're paying attention.
Oh.
More on notice is double dare. No,
I just need to shut the fuck up for the whole segment. Next segment, I'm out.
Well, it's time for a break anyway. So we'll come back after this break. This was an art installation. These are not my real friends.
Wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we break. Like, damn, what a vibe. Woo! I got my old soul shoe tripping on his deep groove.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Yeah.
Sneak attack.
Sneak attack, yeah. I think everyone has a drink, right? Right. We're segment 3, the Fighting 3. Still at Don Zipo, still hanging out in Austin, Texas, still hanging out with Chris Sebilia. And I am saying that correct, right?
Yeah.
There was at least one episode that I listened to. The announcer got your name wrong. Did you do that on purpose?
I don't think so. I think it's one of those things that you don't say my name enough.
In turns,
you
right?
want to go with the Spanish pronunciation, throw an extra L in there, and be Chris Sebilia.
Sebilia.
That's the number one.
Sure.
Growing up in California, being out here, people are like, "Nah, we're gonna make you Spanish."
Sure. Do you ever just go with it? Like, just like I'm Brent Peasley. I'm Sebilia. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Sure, yes.
Sure.
I mean, it's already on our tray. We know that. So.
Yeah. I go with whatever will get me better food at a restaurant. I'm eating Italian. I'm like, it's Sebilia. Come on.
Sebilia.
Sebilia.
Sebilia. Yeah.
It's funny. Well, it's funny to me. It's one of those names. I was thinking about this the other day. It's one of those names they changed in Ellis Island.
Sebilia was?
Yeah. So it should have been Sibilia, and they were like, "No, you're in America now. That first I is an E."
Take
I don't-
that,
Take
heritage.
Clearly, I'm Americanized,
Cheers
so it
to,
worked.
Cheers to being whitewashed, I
Yeah.
guess. So when we have comedians on the show, we like to do a thing called Explain Your Tweet,
Oh, okay.
or Tweet Yourself. I work with it.
You mentioned that, and I was already afraid because two reasons. So the Twitter account goes back a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I ran another comedy show in town for a little bit where we'd have, we've had people on, so two comedians would face off, and they had to do, their best tweet and go back and forth, and the audience would vote. And then the other comedian would go through their account and find the worst tweet and make them explain it.
Yeah, sure.
To a live audience of like why they did that.
Whose tweet is it anyway?
It should. It shouldn't be that stressful, really. Like I'm sticking through like the last 2 months.
Okay. Yeah,
No,
I can live with that.
I'm not asking you like when you first started your account. What does testing mean? But I have 3 tweets, and I see the way you write tweets might be a little different too. Like looking for what exactly your exposure was at the time that made you think of the thing. That's the goal. So every time I see a pregnant woman, I think, phew, another bullet dodged.
Well, he's a man, so
Yeah,
Sure.
so there's that.
yeah.
But I love. So like obviously the joke here is like thank God I didn't get that stranger pregnant.
Right.
yeah. But where were you? What were you thinking at the time?
So I guess like 2 things. I don't know if it's just like the weird way my mind is wired.
Sure.
But I'll see when I come across like just in passing, I'll see a friend or even like kind of a friend of a friend who's pregnant. I'll always go to that like, did I have sex with them? I didn't have sex with them. I'm pretty sure. Yo, Dick, did we do anything we don't remember?
Sure.
That happens.
Sure.
And then, so that's generally what it is. And then, I have had like an ex-girlfriend that got pregnant, like a year later.
Sure.
But you're doing the math.
Oh yeah, like what's funny is I've done like I was an engineer. Math's not foreign to me, and I've done that math so many times, like double checking my work, like prolonged pregnancy on YouTube. Like no.
So when you ask how far are you along, you're actually like crossing your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean days.
I mean, like seriously, like to the minute. Do you know the minute, please? Call
Right.
the doctor together. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna get a second opinion. I know you think that's.
My kid.
Is this your boyfriend? Can I talk to him? I want to see what he says.
Second tweet is, my boss complains I use the bathroom too much, but bitches even more when I jack off and do coke in my cube.
Does that really need explanation? That's
Well, and
I mean, seriously,
it was because of the cube thing. It was like, because I knew that you were an engineer, and I also saw that you were also very busy. It made sense that you're not in that realm anymore. So you're like still making that joke about the hassle boss, who is not letting you do the worst things or whatever. But like again, where were you and what were you thinking at the time?
So with that one, so it's funny. I've got on some way to like categorize and like keep track of my bits. I'll write them in this program called Evernote, and then I'll tag them with something. So if like
Sure.
I want to pull up all my relationship material and see what all that is, I actually have a folder called Cubicles. Like I've written so many jokes about cubicles it now has its own tag and folder.
I mean, it hits home, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
the
something.
Dilbert guy made billions off that. So.
Oh my god! And he was an engineer, no less. So
There you go.
Sure. Yeah.
I was getting to the point that I knew I was going to quit, and like it's this weird like kind of like nirvana and yet like the worst kind of burden
Sure.
because you're like I could lose this client I don't care. And then at the same time, you're like, oh, but I have to be here for like 6, like no matter what happens, I still have to come in here.
Yeah.
So kind of in the tail end of that, I was just...
And if someone remembers you were there and doesn't disavow you from being there, like, like knowing you can, but probably shouldn't. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And like...
But this is a fantasy then, like, oh, if only...
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh,
If anybody's listening at home, this was a fantasy and not a real thing.
Third one is from July. This is the latest.
Okay.
Take sympathy on us drunks, for we know not what we text.
Yeah.
So that's either a really easy joke or you remembered something next day. So that's I'm curious is like you look up and go, oh, I do remember saying that, or not.
You know how it usually happens is like you wake up in the morning and then you get a text that like seems completely and utterly out of context.
Sure.
And you're like, I don't know, what do I care about whale safety? And then you like scroll back and you're like, oh no, this was a whole thing that happened. Like there are hours of conversations I've had with several people that I'm sure they remember. And then I was like, I'm going to dress that up with kind of like a Shakespeare feel.
Was that hyperbole, or was that a thing that actually happened though? Like not that tweet specifically, but like whales, for example.
Oh
like,
no, well not whales specifically.
I was crossing my fingers, man.
Yeah. I've in my dating days, you know, I've texted stuff like, hey, I just bought that coffee you really like, forgetting that was like a different woman I was dating, and the one I'm dating now doesn't drink coffee.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the hell do you mean I don't drink coffee? You know that. And I'm like, yeah.
It was a joke I was working on. I was just bouncing it off of you.
Yeah. Coffee I like. I'm just telling you I got the coffee I like.
This is what you should say to me.
Right.
About the coffee that I bought for you to give to. Yeah.
Right. Well, what's guy got to do to get a cup of coffee? Turn it around.
Why is it always about me? Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I need a caffeine fix and I'm the asshole now.
I'm the guy who loves coffee and you've never bought me any, so I have to buy it for myself and then tell you that I bought it for myself? That's pretty fucked up, Sheila.
Yeah. How did you know her name was Sheila?
You know, Facebook, you know. It's the reason why I knew you were an engineer for a second. That's really all the tweets. You did great. You also you survived.
3 for 3 on those?
100%. Yeah.
All right. I remember my own tweets. That's a good thing.
Correct, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing about that is that's kind of funny is I try to tweet daily or a couple days a week.
Yeah.
But that got to be a real pain in the ass. So I'll like schedule all my tweets. I'll like use Hootsuite and I'll like schedule them out. And like so I'll just like write a bunch and then I won't look at them. So like a lot when I see my Twitter, a lot will be like, oh, that's what happened a month ago. Oh yeah. I remember I was single, I was drunk. That sounded like a good idea. So it's kind of like my own like mini time hop of like, this is a mindset I was in a while ago. So.
That's nice.
That's what I tried to look when Twitter first became a thing. I was trying to explain to people that it's basically Facebook if there's nothing except for the text parts. And it really didn't make a lot of sense until you see, like, especially that kind of experience of saying, like, reeling back and saying, well, if all I can see is what I've been saying and not actually what I've been doing or what other people say to is like, I just say a lot of weird words, like in succession, every day or every couple times a day or whatever. Yeah.
But
scheduling's awesome in a very strange way. We're like a place where technology is allowing us to. Because of Brent Peasley, like we did the same thing with Brent Peasley, and he's like, well, it's really hard for me to remember things because I'll write them down on my flip phone, and I'll email myself, and then at the end of the week or maybe in the month, I'll just put them all up. And so he's like, I don't remember what I was talking at the time because like I literally just thought a thing and pushed it. Like,
it's Brent's process is incredibly unique.
That is true.
It's so funny to be talking to him. And he'll be like, oh, that's a really great line. Here, let me text that to myself so that I can transfer it to my note folder on my computer later. And you're like, you don't see how this is ridiculous. Like, you're so adamant that you pay $10 a month and you're not limited in any way. That you want to see a video, but I have to pull it up on my phone. Or like, no, I get it. Yeah, this works great for you. I don't know why.
Well, that's why he has you.
It's the anti-vax movement of phones. Like, no, I'm fine because you guys have smartphones. Yes, okay, technically yes.
Or the guy who just quit smoking is like, well, I don't need to buy cigarettes because everyone I know smokes. Like, hey, can I bum one? Can I bum one? Can I bum one? Can I bum one?
Yeah.
Forever. Like, why don't you buy a pack? No, I'm quitting. Great.
Right. Are we quitting too? Oh, then I guess got it.
We all have to, or smoke menthols. That's the way. That's the secret trick. The life
deterrent,
hack.
yeah. Life hack.
Yeah.
Your life hack is smoking worse cigarettes.
It's way
so
worse.
people
cigarettes.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like about whiskey drinkers. It's not that they don't want to bring alcohol to a party. It's just that
They want to take it home afterwards.
Exactly. Somebody would just be like, please no, not at our house.
Well, this
Okay.
is 23-year-old McKellen, whatever. Like, hey, try this. No. All right. Well, I tried.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Did you try?
Right.
Was this your intent?
This is 100% seriously. Yeah.
Turn a whole party of 20-year-olds onto whiskey?
A very common tactic. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Highland Scotch. It's really best with one ice cube.
Yeah. It's a little peaty, If you drink a couple bottles of it, you'll like it, but I only brought half the bottle that I've been drinking the whole time. Yeah.
You get questions like, does it work for beer pong? Because if it works for beer pong, no, it's not. We're doing different things.
Technically, everything can work for beer pong, except for obviously, it's not beer, but why not? Try it one night. If you have good insurance.
It's an expensive night.
A really expensive night.
I've had some terrible nights with champong. Wine pong, but champong always works great.
Yeah. Wine pong.
Franzia, baby.
Wine pong is rough because it is Franzia.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to have the bag, so you got to slap the bag. It's a whole thing. But champong, you're like, it's one of those things that you're like, why haven't I been doing this years
The
ago?
whole time, yeah.
This is fantastic.
It's still bubbly, and also it tastes better
Right.
than just Miller Lite. And they're like,
Really?
pour it. Yeah.
Huh.
So Dylan has a very peculiar palate, I would say.
Sure.
Doesn't like lots of things.
I would say champagne would be like the absolute worst of the pongs.
Oh man, it's so easy. It's an easy
Really?
buzz.
Except for have you ever been in a beer pong game where they start mixing things in front of you and then you have to drink a cup of ass juice, basically?
All right, so now we're unpacking why you have these problems. Yes.
That's worse than beer pong.
I've been in a
course,
lot of
champagne.
Kings Cup games like that.
Yeah.
King's Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, champagne is disgusting. All the time, always.
Really? Champagne tastes like a celebration feels to me.
Wow. Yeah.
Like I can't because
It's the only drink that gets your cockles drunk. Like you feel good. Like, hey, we're having a thing, but there's a reason why we're drinking instead of just it's a Thursday. Like, yeah.
Really?
I think it's very like Pavlovian dog for me because like
Sure.
the first 24 times I had champagne, it's at weddings or like celebrating graduation,
Sure.
and then my brain's like, anytime you taste this, stuff's being good. And so now I'm like, yes, we're celebrating. What Tuesday? We're celebrating Tuesday. Let's do this.
Tuesdays, this is the best Tuesday we've ever had, right, guys? Right, guys? Pops. Yeah.
Apparently, I've had a very depressing life without any celebration whatsoever.
That'll happen.
Yeah, go with this thing. That's true. You're miserable. Well, you've been alive for 200
I'll
years,
say.
so.
Let me tell you about champagne though.
It's kind of the Highlander, really. When you are immortal, you just pray for death. Yeah.
At that point, you should have a better palate, I would say.
And a sword.
Everything bores
And a sword.
Everything bores me now at this stage. Yeah.
Even the sweet swords? You broke it, man. Sorry.
Yeah. Highlander.
Shots in this podcast. That's all he's got left.
That's true.
It's weird that it came to podcast.
The Final Frontier.
Yeah, you got in quick, and we ruined it. Drunk ass. Let's take a third break. We'll come back and do our toasts, and that's it. Break.
Wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we break like that.
That's not bump material. I'll never use that. That goes right into a ditch.
Smooth a bam boom rock. We're here to rock you. It's like damn, what a vibe. Woo. I got my
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Hey!
Segment 4, the Fighting Four. Or the Fantastic Four. Oh, we can't call it that anymore because
No, we are still the Fantastic Four.
What is legally devoid from the Fantastic Four?
that's the
It's not
worst.
Fantastic Four.
It's not Fan-Four-Stick. Okay. I will take that.
We're still
We're still the Fantastic Four.
We're still the Chris Evans version.
Yes, that's true.
I stand by that.
Can I be Jessica Alba?
Of course you can.
Aw.
Every night in my dreams.
Thanks, guys. So sweet.
You'd make like such a good Jessica Alba. Can I just say?
It's so sweet. I swear.
Hey, she's a billionaire. Leave her alone.
Whoa.
No, that's true. She is.
Well, no, that
Just got real in here.
I mean, we were trying to do a thing together.
She's the richest, most beautiful woman on earth.
I know you're trying to white knight her, man. It's cool. I understand.
Most beautiful mother on earth. Thank you. I follow her career.
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Besides Mother Gaia.
The spirit of Earth.
Honestly, I'd take Alba. I'm gonna say it. Alba or Mother Earth. I'm taking Alba.
Alba, not Gaia. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
At least I
Gaia's-
know Alba's real.
There's a new segment for the show. Alba or Gaia?
I think Gaia is a bigger whore, so
Gaia will be here.
she'll always be there.
So this is a toast segment of the show. We can wrap some stuff up, things we didn't talk about very much. I didn't plug in my laptop. I really wanted everyone to hear the butt drugs commercial. But we'll get back to that and eventually.
Butt drugs.
Butt drugs, yeah. Banksy's Dismaland was really fucking cool.
Oh, that was awesome.
Did you see this? Have you heard about this, Chris?
I've heard about it a little bit. People seeing the refugees in boats and things like that.
Oh,
Yes.
For,
Yeah.
for one, the art actually is spectacular.
It
really
is. Yeah.
And then my going joke this week is it really Banksy or is it Euro Disney? No one knows the difference.
Yeah.
You know?
On purpose.
Yeah.
A lot of visual stuff, so we can't really share a lot of that, but it'll be on the blog that no one goes to. And of course, we talk about D's Nuts and 9%, which is still the fucking funniest thing in the whole world to me.
Jared.
We don't want to talk about Jared. Well, so Gene Simmons is under the same kind of attention.
No, he's totally in the clear.
But here's the problem. He's in the clear because he was not in. So if you don't know the story, Jared Fogle, who was the head guy for Subway for 15 years, got in trouble. Everyone thought, no, it's not his fault. It does turn out that he at least had sex with at least one 16-year-old and had child porn on his computer. Not a fun thing to talk about if we're just having drinks, whatever. But the problem is, when we first heard about the story, I don't know if Chris, you feel the same way. We first heard the story, is like, if that's not true, it ruined his career.
I said that, actually. I'm on record.
I know you did. We all agreed on it. Like, I didn't know if you looked at it like, oh, is it possible? Is it not? But like, that's a hefty claim. It's like saying it's like saying a guy's creepy. Like, you can't wipe that off. Like,
Well, and how I heard about the story was like showing pictures of the FBI going into his home and
Yep.
kicking him out.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, our government's made its fair share of mistakes, but as soon as you put 30 FBI agents on a thing,
That's
My-
probably
my-
kind of real.
My point
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
probably they do a pretty thorough job
Well,
when they're
they're
taking
trying to,
down amazingly huge,
Especially-
relatively huge celebrities.
Yeah.
Try to change it differently, like it was one of his business associates because they share a web server or blah blah blah. It's like,
Oh, come on.
I know. But it's also still like, if nothing comes from this, like, he's ruined. And so Gene Simmons was not at his house at the time something like this happened.
Yeah.
His family is definitely not related to it. Everyone was kicked out. It's like,
And I guess the federales have actually said the Simmons family is not involved.
Not at all.
This is the thing that happened at their home when
they
they
even
were
said
not
like
there.
he has an alibi.
Yeah. Like the whole family was out of town.
And it's because it's so easy to just say like, oh, hey, pedophile. Oh my God, kill that guy. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. That's the reason why I want to bring up Subway, exactly. So,
Well,
let's
the
see.
Chomo, apparently.
Well, before we move
Ashley
on from
Madison.
Jared, like the one joke that we considered putting on our show for this week was one
Yeah.
of our writers was like, Jared Fogel's pleading guilty. I don't know if you heard about this. I guess there really are no heroes. No
Yeah.
heroes.
Yeah.
Like the sandwich. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
we get it. You can make puns. Let's move on.
Well, someone else pointed out that he's going to jail for a long time, and I said, don't worry, most of the inmates are made of turkey.
He'll be getting footlongs
Footlong.
all day long.
Yeah.
It's so much fun because he got. There was actually a story. It's not in here, but there was actually a story about before Jared. The reason why Jared started eating Subway and started losing weight, quote unquote, was because the Subway was installed on the same level as his dorm,
Oh, jeez.
and his dorm was the place where people were renting his porn. He had such a large porn collection that he was renting out $1 a day, a huge amount of porn. He was making a ton of money off of it.
At least $5 a day.
I mean, $5
For a footlong.
Yeah, for a footlong. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the actual titles of these porns. could have been $10.
10 years, I think.
10
is
years,
the answer.
$5 a slave.
Well, so the other thing I read about that story was like a lot of the headlines. It was like Jared Fogle isn't the biggest thing Subway has to worry about. And then I'd read the article and it would be like, because their share is dropping. And I'd be like, really? That's not... whatever editor this is, never again.
Right.
Who let you edit?
Welcome to the modern age.
Because it could have been sweet, 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 but it's like, nah, BuzzFeedy. Like, not the worst thing you have to deal with.
Number 6 will
their
surprise
napkins
you.
are very small. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, what if you're like the victim reading that? You're like, come on, give me a break here. He's kind of should worry about that. I guess Subway did a thing.
Jared. So Ashley Madison.
And the last thing's Ashley Madison, and really we already know all of that, but if you don't know this, that means you were not a you don't have a profile on Ashley Madison. Yeah. God damn. Why not use your real? Why not use a fake fucking name?
Or a non-government email address.
Or not use your own address. He had his own physical address
or
in his
go
account.
to any gas station, grocery store, or Walgreens and buy a prepaid credit card.
Yeah.
And people are dumb.
Which person specifically? Is this the
Duggar? The Duggar.
Oh, the Duggar guys.
the Family Values guy?
Josh Duggar from the
19 and counting.
18 and 19 and counting.
Who also
Yeah.
molested 2 of his sisters.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Because
That old chestnut.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
one of the other candidates that happened to be found through Ashley Madison was like one of the senior representatives of the Family Values Commission or
Oh
something.
yes, I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
How okay, so I had to say, like, in the statistical chances of how things work, it's so excellent. The irony is so beautiful that we have situations like that. We have people who are trying to fight against evolution and or climate change who are heading the science and climate change divisions. Like, how does that keep happening? How is it so beautiful where you say, like, all right, so you have no hair? All right, so you're going to eventually head the Department of Hair Research, or like of luxurious diamond-studded hair. Like, well, how does that happen? It's so wonderful. Like, sorry,
America.
America.
So where can we see Chris Sebilia?
Well, I mean,
It's not for that yet?
no.
Is the train mean the end of the show, or is that just a happy accident?
That costs a lot of money for that train to come in. Exactly. Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
You guys put a lot of effort into the show. So I'm going to be at ATX tonight every Saturday at the Hideout Theater, 10:30.
Yeah.
We have a whole bunch of fun. So every week we put on a better show. I always look forward to it. It's a bunch of fun. And then outside of that, I'll be Out of Bounds on September 5th and 6th at the Velveeta Room at 11 p.m. and 8 p.m. respectively. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah.
It's Scott. What was his last name? The one of the guys that runs the Out of Bounds.
Scott Moran.
Scott Moran. You mentioned him as one of these journalists, one of these people for podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Please contact Scott Hearn.
Scott Hearn. I'm sorry.
Hearn, there it
Yes.
is, yeah.
Scott
Yeah.
Hearn has another podcast that he's been doing for a while. So he'll probably be heading up some of the podcasting aspects of that. So yeah. Or I believe the podcast for Out of Bounds is called Oobcast. OOBcast.
Okay.
That might have its own Twitter hashtag, or I'm sure if you look it up, you can find it that way.
And where can we find you on Twitter?
C Sebilia, Csebilia.
And on Facebook?
Chris Sebilia, anything you want to search around that.
And
Yeah.
chrissebilia.com is also your main.
Yes, and chrissebilia.com is
And you
also
can
my
see
main.
where you're going to be and tweets and trends and all those wonderful things.
Yep, absolutely. And
Yeah.
for tickets to ATX Tonight and everything about the show, check out atxtonightshow.com with no spaces or underscores or anything like that. So.
Excellent site, too.
And then
Really-
YouTube feed, is that?
Oh, yeah. So we have a YouTube channel that's everything from the show and a bunch of other stuff that I've done, which is the channel is Moxie. That's kind of like I house my production company under that title.
I was going to ask you about that, yeah.
MOCKSEE, Moxie.
Yeah.
Kind of nice play on words there. But.
Nice.
Very nice. Yes. It's toast time.
Yeah, he has a shot left. So.
I have a shot left,
Yeah.
so this is very appropriate. So here's my toast. I generally find joy in all of the things comedic. And the reason that makes me know that comedy will always go and continue to go is when reality is always more ridiculous than comedy.
Sure.
When stuff happens where you're like, George Zimmerman is selling Confederate flags paintings to support a Muslim banning gun shop. Yeah, couldn't write that. Couldn't. So here's to everything reality imitating comedy.
AKA Florida.
To Florida, yes. Oh, yes, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Beautiful toast.
Wait, who's these two? You two. Not me, I'm not.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
I want you to come back anytime you feel like you can come back. I mean, I know you're a busy guy. Fridays are easier for us, yeah. And can't wait to come and see your show. Anything else?
And by
you wanna
see,
do?
mean crash it and be on the show? Wink.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, bring Roman candles into the audience, you know.
Yeah,
and,
whatever it takes.
and then,
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it takes, yeah.
Yeah. It's a candle-heavy audience. That'd be perfect.
I love that. Should be on a tombstone somewhere.
It's a candle-heavy audience.
Amnesty International's president, I think, has that. Yeah.
The audience loved that joke.
Hey,
I
when
was
people
trying.
have fun.
Dylan, thanks so much for helping me run the show.
I'm sorry I did so poorly today. I'm not here.
Come on.
I'm just glad you know.
It's not my best.
Nah.
Yes, correct answer.
I don't know how else to say it, but look, your ego's very fragile. I want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of Drunkcast Live. We hope you enjoyed it. If you want to find out more about the show, you can go to drunkcastlive.com. We're on Facebook.com/drunkcastlive. We're at Twitter at drunkcastlive on Twitter. We are on the iTunes store.
Porn cheese the sun! Porn cheese the sun!
Porn cheese the sun. We're on iTunes. You're going to do a search for Drunkcast Live on iTunes. You can leave them any kind of notes. If you have a thing you like or hate, whatever, who gives a shit, just tell us, please. You can go to the Zune store, which is not a thing. I don't care. I love you guys for listening to us. If you're still listening to us on the Zune store, but you haven't proven that you're still listening to us on the Zune store, so
You haven't proven it exists.
it exists, yeah. I met one of you, and please just email us at questions@drunkcastlive.com to prove that you're a thing.
What's the shot line?
412-440-7468. It's 412-440-SHOTS. You can text that number if you have a thought or a concept or whatever the hell you like.
You can tweet. No, you text.
You text, yeah.
I'm doing finger typing things in the air.
Tweets and texts are basically the same thing for people who are 200 years old.
So a text is a phone tweet.
It's a phone tweet.
Sure.
Yes. Although you get more letters on a text, right? You can.
Oh, yeah.
I've
gotten some marathon text messages, so I can vouch for that being true.
We're also on Instagram at Drunkcast Live Pics.
Those are drunk ass pics.
Whatever.
I don't know.
Instagram is for losers.
No.
I mean, it's not really for losers. So we like you guys if you're listening to this. Also, I don't understand any of you British people for not saying a goddamn thing. If we really have that many people who are listening to us, say fucking anything, honestly, because it's giving us a terrible sense of superiority, and we just want to know if 75% of our audience doesn't exist. Inferiority, excuse me.
Which actually makes perfect British sense because A, they won't say anything.
They won't say anything at all.
And two, they want to lord it over us. The colonies, they don't. We can't be better.
Are you still holding a grudge about that?
They are, apparently.
They might be.
Yeah.
Like, literally 75% of our traffic comes from Cambridge.
Well, it's a smart crowd. That should be a compliment.
I guess.
We're the smartest podcast on earth.
Or we're the greatest laugh that they're having, you know.
Yeah. Mazel tov.
Maybe they'll never know that we're just not really good at dry humor. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we love you so much. We'll see you next week.
To let you know what the deal is.
Trump called Donald Duck. Just like, I went a different direction. I know you guys have been doing this presidency a long time. I think we need to redo that. I've got a cartoon character. Come at me now.